Hello, welcome to Mantis Garden again. And again, I have another eBay Isopod to open. And this is from a different country. This is not Bugs in the House anymore. Sorry, Bugs in the House, but you may have been usurped or may not. I don't know. We'll have to have a look. These are Cubaris murina. Cubaris murina. I just got these just to test them out again. Go for the cheap ones first, see what the score is. And I don't actually have these. They're a relation of the rubber ducky. So I don't like the rubber ducky, thankfully. So I'm not particularly bothered about them. These again have come in a nice little package with the urgent light bugs inside, etc. And they told me they were sending them yesterday or the day before, and I've got them, and they've got them in this wonderful postable thing again that comes through your door rather than having to wait for the postman Pat to knock on. I'm trying to figure out how to get in this box now. I know it's upside down. There we go. Oh, there we go. Ah, it's taped down. We've got the usual 3-ounce pot, 4-ounce pot, and it's taped down to the bottom. There's nothing in there, it's telling me. So I'm going to have to do this off memory of who I bought them from, which I will do. And let's have a look at them, see what the score is. I mean, so far they seem safe, and they've written underneath them what they are. And if I can get the plastic off them, I'll let you know if they're alive. I hope they are. This is a company, so I'm expecting more than I would if it was just off an individual who was flogging cheap isopods. Because, you know, that's what you do when you buy from a company. Let's have a look. And I'm going to put, it's awfully dry. I'll put some glasses on for this and have a look. Very dry. And wow, they're tiny. Super, super tiny. But they are running round. Now without a macro lens, I couldn't honestly tell. You could put baby scapers in there. I couldn't honestly tell the difference. Because they look, they're so tiny. These are minuscule in fact. But I think it said something about that. I can't complain about the size of them. But yeah, this seems to be alive. Now let's get the macro lens and have a closer look at them. Some of these guys are super tiny. There's quite a few in here, and you certainly can't complain about them being active. Just move this around. Oh, hugging the edge. Yeah. There's one. Is he going to behave? No, he wasn't until that one jumped in the way. But yeah. There's a super tiny one on the way. I can't believe how small they are. They're cute. There's a lot more than 10 in here, put it that way. And this is from Bugs Are Us. Wow, they're hard to film. They just keep running away. I'm turning the pot here. You probably noticed. And it's losing focus every 3 seconds. Oh, don't go off and leave me with an empty pot. There we go. Yeah, they're meeting up. Lovely. Stay there. No, you're not going to, are you? Okay, there. No, you're not going to. Right, these are a bloody nuisance. But anyway, yeah, they've arrived okay. I would have felt a bit better if the packing was, well, there was any packing at all. It would have been nice instead of just an empty cardboard box with the pot in it. But at least the pot was taped down, so I'll give them that. It can't wobble around. And they could have done with putting a little slip of paper in to remind you who you bought them from. That would have also been quite nice. But yeah, Bugs Are Us. They've got Instagram, which I'm going to put in the description below. These was quite cheap, a lot cheaper than what you'd normally buy them for. If you was buying them from some more well-known. I'm fiddling with the camera here, sorry about that. Yeah, really struggling to get focus on them. They're just moving around way too much. Yeah, they was cheaper, but I can't really knock that. The price and the postage again was in with the price, like Books in the House is. And there are Cubaris species, so it's always a bonus if you get those cheaper than you was expecting. So here they are. I'll try another. Oh, there's a springtail on that one. I'll try another order from them and see what we get this time. Don't know what they've got. I can't remember, but they had a fair few species. And bugs are us, but the only bugs I could find was isopods, so I don't know if they do others. If they do, I'll try something else. These are quite tough, so I wasn't that worried about getting these. And there's one climbed out of the petri dish here, and I'm watching it, and it's on the paper underneath, and you've probably just seen it run around there. And making sure, right, I'm going to stop this before I lose this isopod, I think. Where's he gone? Oh, he's run up the table. No, it's alright, I've got him. You know, put him back in here. They are so small. Talking like a quarter of an inch. There's some in there even smaller than that. I'd say 5mm, 4mm, something like that. I'm not big on that millimetre business, because I'm old and that's the way I roll. But yeah, I'm going to rehouse these now in a small, really small enclosure actually. I don't need anything particularly large for these. And we'll see how they get on, see if they get breeding, and then I can move them into something bigger. Alright. Right, well, I was going to call it a day there, but I figured I've got to put them in an enclosure, or a bin, as they like to call them. So I might as well do this on camera as well at the end of this video. It makes more sense. This is, it's actually leaves, this, and garden waste that has been from last year that's decomposed. And I've now got, basically, leaf litter soil. So I've got forest soil. It's quite damp. It's been outside. So it's quite nice. So I'm going to stick a bit in there for them. And in these I'm going to add to here. This is what they came in, and this seems to be full of springtails. So, and it may even be tiny Cubaris in there. I don't know. So I'm just going to pop that in there. And any springtails that are in there can stay in there. And I don't think there's any. No, there's no isopods in there. But yeah. Got a bit of the old sphagnum moss. It's nice and dry, that though. And these are what I used to have tiny little mantis in as nymphs that was eating springtails. So these are full of springtails. So waste not, want not. This is all dry now actually. It's only been a few days, I know. But yeah, I've got a couple of these. So a couple of pots of springtails. That little stick. I believe how small these mantis actually was. So that's all got springtails in it. It's all good. Mix it around there. And I'm going to stick a bit of cork bark in here. But first I'm going to need a bit of moss. I've got some sphagnum moss somewhere. Right back. There we go. I have a tiny bit of sphagnum, which I do here, left in this bag. So I'm going to put this is nice and damp, this spaggy. Let's put it in here, and this one side here. It's all pretty dry actually. Now Cubaris, all of them, like a good amount of calcium, so I'm going to be put in some calcium in here, but I'm going to have to grate down a cuttlefish shell, and I don't have one to hand right now, as my snails have eaten it all. So I'm going to have to get some cuttlefish and grind it down in here, or see if I've got any calcium powder left. But this will do for them at this point. Now, one thing we do need, it's quite important, because they love it, so might as well have it. These are oak leaves, dry oak leaves from, again, last year. But these have been in a box, so they're not been tightly packed, so they're not decomposed. Which is normally happens. If you want decomposed leaves out of your garden, make sure they're deciduous leaves, and you get a great big load of them. And you pop them in a black bin liner. I don't know what Americans call bin liners, but bags, dustbin bags, rubbish bags. You pop them in there, tie them up, throw them under your barbecue or whatever, and leave them there for a year. And next time you visit them, you will have soil or substrate, and that's basically all you need to do. And you can do that every year. If you do it enough, you can end up with never-ending substrate that you never have to buy. And you can, if you want, if you're making things like terrariums, if you really want to, add cocoa fibre, orchid bark, sphagnum, etc. to it, and it's an ABG mix. But that's pretty good for now for these guys. Just say I've got to add calcium. I'm going to add a bit of lunch for them, and this is just fish flakes for now. I'm going to chop up a courgette later. I've got lots to feed later, so I'll be doing that later. I've got oh my god, yeah, I've got lots and lots of Isopods to feed later, so they can get the fresh stuff later. For now they can have some fish flakes in there, and we'll see how they're getting on. As you see, this is just simply cork bark, leaf litter, sphagnum moss. This is a bridge, so under here there's part of it is going to be quite damp, the other part quite dry, which should be adequate. And the only thing we have to add now is our little tiny Cubaris, and these managed to even crawl on the lid. Look how tiny these are. I'm not going to be even get you to see these once I put them in. They're going to vanish because they're so small. There's one. Is that one? Yeah, that's one there. These are like super tiny. You can see that. In fact, super tiny. There's no point me trying to get the camera in there to show you. I'll just give that pot back a bit of a wet down. These leaves a bit wet, and that should be enough. But in future, all I'll be doing is wetting the moss, and a quick spray like this on the rest, but mostly on the moss. I've got ventilation in the lid, so I'll pop that on. They're only going to be near temporary. Hopefully they'll breed fairly quickly, and then I can move them onto a slightly bigger container, like this one, which is only slightly bigger, but it is bigger. And no idea what's in here because the labels are not on them. Oh, they're clowns. So there you go. We'll be doing something similar to this. He's only got a few leaves left, so I'm making a couple more. So I've got it open, otherwise I might forget. Not too many, as I say, I'm going to feed him after anyway. Tear this up now. They've got a good chow on that actually. Yeah, it's pretty nice when you see when they've eaten them all. You end up with the skeleton of a leaf like this. It's nice, well-eaten leaf. But yeah, they'll go into a bigger container like this when they've Look at that. When they've bred, because after the first brood, it's always best to move them up a little bit, otherwise they can crash, and we don't want that. So, yeah. Right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Give us a subscribe and a like and a comment. Now, go on, get on with it, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.